Yes.
Lisbon in the Algarve itinerary.
And I
All
see the
right, so this,
cutest logo in the left corner
mhm.
that Carrie, who's on the call, designed because she's a
Oh,
graphic
that's wonderful.
designer.
So this itinerary is really thought out, especially for families with children. So what we have done is, first of all, select properties that would have triple rooms and quad rooms to make it more affordable. But also each one of the day tours that we do, we have them, number one, with guides that are good with kids. I take my kids on many tours when we go in the summers over to, vet our own guides. And I would tell you, not everybody is great with kids. And sometimes, kids will get bored, but some of them are fantastic and they'll engage the kids and make it fun for the kids. Because if the kids are having fun, then the adults are having fun. So, so really focus on dividing sort of and mixing um, activities for so that the kids are not bored and so that also the parents are having fun. So we're going to start in Lisbon and explore some of the surrounding towns, and then we're going to move down to the Algarve for some R&R and a little bit of sailing. So on the 9th of April, we start, arriving, and this will be your home. This is the Hotel Avenida Liberdade, and we'll be home for the first 5 nights. So we don't hop around at all. You can just get there, unpack, you have your triple or quad room. This is located in the center of Lisbon. It's a contemporary 4-star hotel, and it's meets all the requirements that any North American traveler would expect, with all the different modern amenities and comfort levels and so forth. And on the first day, we're going to do the Belém family tour. If you remember, in one of the pictures, you could see the downtown of Lisbon, sort of that park going down to the river. You saw this tower in the end. This is the Belém Tower. So this morning, this is a 4-ish hour tour, and explore the heart of the city, walk down to the Tower of Belém. This is where the Portuguese navigators left, looking for the New World. And we will visit the Jerónimos Monastery and the Belém Tower, which are both classified by UNESCO as World Heritage. Let me show you. This is the Jerónimos Monastery. And the tour will be done in a dynamic mode, so it's suitable for the age of the children. So for example, during the visit to the Jerónimos Monastery, we'll have someone playing with the kids in the garden so that they're entertained while the parents can, enjoy the insight and the beauty of the monastery. So finally, our guide will take the group to enjoy some pastéis de Belém, which is a sort of a egg custard, and we'll enjoy this actually in the garden. So we'll take you from the hotel to all these places, take you back. We have booster seats if kids need them included, a drink for the adults, and the pastéis de Belém as well. So in the afternoons, you would be free to explore or rest from your trip. So on Sunday, we're going to do a Lisbon family tour. This is about 5 to 6 hours. First, we start with a private ride on the trolley. So the trolley will be just for the group. And so just for you guys. And the route starts at, downtown, and going through downtown Lisbon and finishing at Porta de Sol in Alfama. Alfama is kind of like a really intricate neighborhood on top of a hill. And let me show you a picture. This is Alfama. This is Porta do Sol. And here the party will be divided in small groups, and we're going to do a scavenger hunt around this quarter, around the São Jorge Castle in this Alfama neighborhood, which is one of the oldest in Lisbon. So that should be fun for both adults and the children. Then lunch is on your own, and when you finish, we're going to go to, I mentioned we were going to do, or one of the fun things to do is the tile painting workshop. And there you will hand paint your own tile, and there'll be a resident artist waiting for you to help you and explain the whole process. And you, even if you're not artistic, you will have a lot of fun. And then they keep the tiles. Once they're dry, they'll ship them to the hotel. All right, so that's it for Sunday. On Monday, April 11th, we will visit both Sintra and Cascais. So we will visit the fairy tale Pena Palace that we saw from a different angle before. You will have a picnic lunch at the gardens. And after leaving Sintra, we will cross the National Park of Sintra Cascades. And let me move on to that picture. And we will stop at Cabo da Roca, excuse me, Cape. This is the westernmost point of continental Europe. So the farthest you can get in continental Europe going to the west. And you'll have a little bit of time to wet your feet on the ocean in Cascais. And let me show you a picture of the beach, because we sort of saw the downtown before. And this is kind of what the beach looks like. So there'll be a little bit of time to just wet your feet in the ocean here. And then while returning to Lisbon, we're going to take you on the scenic route rather than the direct route, so that you can see, you know, the view of the ocean through this panoramic road, because the you know, the beaches from Cascais to Lisbon are breathtaking and unforgettable. So, and then you'll see where the river Tagus meets the ocean and they come together as well. So, so like this is a full day, but you know, we'll keep it at a pace that, you know, we're always watching. It's not a big group, so that nobody's getting tired or bored. And so it includes everything that we've talked about, including the picnic, all the transportation, and so forth. On Tuesday, we will visit Obidos in Ericeira. Ericeira is another, you'll see it next, is another surfing town. This is where we were talking about surf before. So Obidos, we talked about this, you know, whitewash walls, buildings, narrow streets, you know, colorful bougainvillea spilling over from the balconies, and then this castle that you see in the picture, and tons of handicraft shops. So here the parents will taste the famous ginginha, which is a cherry liquor, and the children will get a hot chocolate. And once you get tired of all these kings and queens and narrow streets, we'll take you to Arizera, which is a quaint fishing town, but it also claims to be the birthplace of surfing in Portugal, with much smaller waves than Nazareth. That's what we were talking before. But fishing is still their primary economic activity. And from the cliffs, you can see fishing boats and the, you know, small whitewashed houses. Lunch is on your own today. But since you're in Arizera and fishing is their, you know, main thing, we suggest that you try a local catch of the day. And then after lunch, we're going to take you to discover this miniature town that was created by the hands of a local potterman, which depicts all the regional culture. So I think this would be really fun for the kids to see all the, you know, miniature houses and stuff. So that's it for Tuesday. Now on Wednesday, April the 13th, we have another full day. And we're going to visit Évora, which was in the Alentejo, where the court comes from, as we've been talking. And so the, you know, the downtown is pretty historical and compact. It is declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And we'll visit all the, you know, the monuments. And they've got some ancient Roman ruins that you could see. They also have a chapel made entirely of bones, and in a statue of a pregnant Virgin Mary, and then cobble streets, very tasty pastries. So in Évora, the parents will take a winery tour and wine tasting, while the kids enjoy a watercolor workshop. And then after, you have lunch on your own, and then we will go back to Lisbon. Now we slow down a bit. So on Thursday, the 14th, we're going to take you on a bus transfer. And we're going to make some stops along the way. So we're going to go from Lisbon to the Algarve in the south, but you're going to have your guide with you the whole time so that you can make some stops along the way, because there are several small villages on the coast that are, stunning, all along this Portuguese coastline. Yeah, so picture here is Sambujeira do Mar, which is a quiet town, well known for the natural and charming beaches, and surrounded by a lot of the Portuguese coast you see surrounded by steep cliffs. So this is a region with a mystical atmosphere and dramatic landscapes of, this cliffs just facing the sea, and, almost deserted beaches and lots of coves. So we'll go making stops on the way, and then this will be your home in the Algarve. We'll be in Lagos, and this will be your home for 4 nights. So starting on Thursday, so this hotel, Tivoli Lagos, it is located in the center of Lagos, which is a fun and exciting town. So you still get you get to go out. It's not just the beach, and if you want to. And then they have a short free shuttle ride to their own beach club called the Duna Beach Club, which they've got all kinds of fun and entertainment for both the adults and children. So in this resort is also very close to several golf courses. If you have any golfers around, since there's going to be coming up a couple of free days. On Friday the 15th, we are going to go sailing. We're going to go sailing for 4 hours in the Bahia De Lagos. And this is a picture of the bay. And so we will sail along, all this impressive caves and coves and rock formations. We will anchor in a shelter bay, and the crew will prepare and serve lunch. Now, again, this is a private sailing, so it's just a group. So don't forget to bring your, swimming or snorkel gear. And we'll show you the famous caves of Ponta da Piedade with a smaller boat. And then after lunch, you'll raise the sails again and just relax, enjoy the sailing, sip a cocktail, enjoy the sun and the sea. There's a drink included with your lunch, but there's also a cash bar on board. And then Saturday, you are free to do as you wish on the pool or on the beach, or go, kayaking or any other water sports. And the same will be on Sunday. So you get 2 free days at the end of the trip to relax and kind of absorb, everything that you've experienced and with the kids and stuff, and have fun. So that is our trip. I'm going to stop the share so I can see you guys.
And I wanted to just make a couple of points. Well, first of all, we can add an activity at the end. I just felt that we were moving around a lot at the beginning, so kind of wanted to gauge everybody before adding it in, and also just trying to keep it at a price point that everybody would be interested in. It's kind of funny when you include the activities. A lot of times people go on a trip and then they're like, oh, what are we going to do while we're there? And then you end up spending all this money while you're there, figuring out what to do. That's one of the things I try to do in my job, is to plan these experiences beforehand. So for one, so that people don't waste their vacation time trying to plan what to do while they're there. But there was a for two, but it's gone out of my head now. But yeah, so so it's like.
Well, I think the most important part is, if I may, is also vetting who you're doing the activities with, which is our job. We're local, and then there's a lot of things that look great on a website, and then you get there and the kayak's got 3 holes and the seat is like broken, and it's happened to me. So it's always great to have the local person that is guiding you.
Yes. And so, and 2, to get an idea of everybody's interest, because I feel like I included in the Lisbon part everything you must see in Lisbon. When you come further south, I mean, some people might be happy to go to the beach every day while we're down there, but other people might be like, well, let's do one more activity. So once I have an idea of who wants to go, or and that sort of thing, then we can add things in. But this is, and then some people might say, I'm going to opt out of that, and that's okay. We can just plan it for those who would want to do an additional activity. And the other thing I really like about this itinerary, other than the drinking wine while the kids do watercolors, is the, when the itinerary was first sent to me, it was us like being transported to the train station and then taking a train down to the coast and then taking another transportation to the hotel. And I felt that was very, there were a lot of steps, and especially with kids and having suitcases and that sort of thing. And so I inquired about us getting a bus to take us, because I feel like there's so much to see in between those two places. I wanted to make that day a tour, so it's not just like a wasted day where you went from point A to point B. You're actually going to see things on that day, and then, you know, all of your things will be taken care of on the bus, and we'll actually be able to tour along the way. So and Jesus was able to arrange that, and I think that was fantastic, because it's like you get a whole nother day out of your trip.
Yes, agreed.
Does anybody have any questions about the trip?
I want you to know that the Roman ruins that he had a picture of, I had that exact same picture on my group that I posted.
Awesome.
I have a little better quality. Just I'll have to go back through your photos and find it. And Carrie Black, oh, I see you. Okay. You have an email from Carrie from earlier today about that, just so you know.
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see it. I'll go look. I'll go search for it.
Oh, okay. If
I
not,
just email, but I didn't know if she'd check it. So
no problem. So, all right. Alrighty. Well, and so the cost of the trip is, I gotta pull up my notes. So if you have a family of 4, so you have a quad room, the price is basically $2,000 per person. It's $1,999, and then the triple is $2,149, because it's a little more when there's only 3 people in a room. And for it's a $500 per person, right? Deposit.
Yes.
Is correct. Okay. But it's refundable up to 60 days before, correct? No.
I do not have it in front of me, but that is very possible, because we're being super flexible right now, you know.
Right. So that gives us time.
I believe so.
Gives us time to vet how things are going, which hopefully by then we'll be all better.
Can you say the triple price?
By next year.
Yeah, the triple price is $2,149 per person, and that's just for the trip. That's not for flights, so we're gonna have to add flights on afterwards. And also, like, I'm gonna be honest, like, if you want to go, like, I'm going to make your family buy insurance, trip protection, because after
you need it.
Yeah. Carrie just went through a whole roller coaster last week or 2 weeks ago on her trip to Puerto Vallarta, and flights being canceled and having to rebook. And then I canceled her hotel reservation. And then in the middle of the night, they decided to rebook, and they had to pay more. So it was just like a crazy roller coaster to get her there. And then while she's in the air, I'm actually reinstating the reservation.
So we were on the way to Mexico without a booking.
Yeah, pretty much. So
I like to live wild.
So after the last year, and Carrie also has money still tied up for another trip that didn't happen last year. And if I'm responsible for people like that I'm traveling with, because if something happens and you need to go to the hospital, I need to be able to say, here's your travel insurance, like, here, take care of everything. So that would probably be, I don't know, it's probably going to be around, like, children are free on trip protection. So it's like 2 adults, probably going to be like $300-ish for a trip like this, maybe a little more. Well, with flights, it's going to be more. But anyway, it's your investment's protected that way. If like you're about to leave and someone dies in your family, you're not going to go on that trip, and so it protects you from all these things you don't even think about as options. You'd be like, oh, I'm going to go no matter what. Well, no, you're not. Not if something horrible happened to somebody, or if you're sick, or you just broke your leg, you're on crutches, you might not want to go. It's just like it's the right thing to do.
There was a girl that was on crutches at the resort I stayed at, and she was just hanging out at the resort and broke her part of her leg. So
yeah, miserable.
What a fantastic trip you guys have planned.
Thank you.
Thank you. So now I have to find people who want to go on it.
And you think it's fine for couples too? I heard you say kids can paint while adults go.
Yeah, I mean, as long as if you're fine being around kids, because it's going to be kids.
I don't know, am I?
You're Camp Carrie.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're gonna be, but I just find, and the reason I wanted to try to do a trip like this is I feel like kids, when they're around other kids, like my kids fight, but when they're around other kids, they fight less. And so when you're trying to relax on a vacation, even on I did a blog post recently, or a social media post saying like a trip versus a vacation is different. So a vacation is more of like a fly and flop to me, right? Like you just go somewhere, you relax, that's it. And a trip can have elements of a vacation, but a trip is like you're going to see things, you're going to experience the world, you're going to do and to see. So I feel like on a trip, kids can get tired or bored sometimes. So like when there are other kids around, they're going to keep each other entertained. They're going to not fight. And I know some people who've done some group trips with families, and the families, like the parents sit at one table and relax while the kids do their own thing at another table. And so I'm not saying you're not going to interact with your kids. I mean, that's part of the reason that we have free days and that sort of thing. And we don't have to eat every meal together and that sort of thing, but it's just nice to have somebody other than you for your kids to focus on for part of the trip, because I love traveling with my kids, but there are times where I'm like, I could use a break right about now, which is good that my dad comes on a lot of our trips, because then Rob and I are able to get away for a glass of wine or something. But yeah, I just feel like I've always wanted to try this. And then when I thought I would wait another year before trying it, and then something happened earlier in the year that made me think I should go ahead and try it with another company. But then I felt like that itinerary was just moving around way too much for having kids. And then Jesus contacted me about doing a Sips and Trips. And I was like, well, let me ask you about a group trip. Like, how would you, like, have you put together something like this for kids? Have you put together a group trip? And he was just like, jump right in. And so, yeah. And then, we kind of had some back and forth on what to include and what not to include. And I think the end result is fabulous. So, I'm not going to do the trip unless we have, let's say like it's for any age kids. I think these tour guides are accustomed to having families with a variety of ages, right?
Yeah. So, and you met Katya last week, and she's a firecracker. She's very animated, and she's wonderful with kids, and she will be the one. If anybody's wondering, you probably have that video from the Facebook Live. You can get a feeling for who she is.
Yes.
She'll be the one accompanying the trip.
Yes, it's on my Facebook page, and she was great, and she was so bubbly. And I think that a lot of times people are used to like there being a teenager and then like an 8-year-old or whatever. So these tour guides are used to dealing with that array of kids. But like you said, you don't even have to have kids. You just have to like kids if you want to go on this trip. And so I'll send the link here in the will I? Let's see. I'll send it in case anyone doesn't have it. And right now it's got a sign up for tonight's event. But if you enter your email address there, you'll be on the actual list. And we've got like, I'm entering it in the wrong place. This is not my normal computer, sorry. So we've got like 18 people interested in the trip, but 18 people did not show up tonight. So I just don't know if people just say they're interested and then they aren't really, or if we'll actually be able to get enough people. But I just sent the link for registering if you are interested, and then I will send out tomorrow more details about payment and when we would need payment and that sort of thing. Yeah, but nobody has any more questions. And then I am gonna use this recording from tonight. I'll put that up on the website. So if you know of anybody who might be interested in this trip, you can also point them to the same website, because that's where I'm gonna put the video from tonight and then more information about how to move forward if you're interested. Alrighty. Well, thank you everyone for being here. Hope you learned something and enjoyed the night. I'm like actually really digging this whole Porto Tonico with oranges. I always like limes in my drink, but this is pretty delicious. So.
It is. It's really good with the orange. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everybody as well for coming and listening.
Yes, and thank you so much, Jesus, and then also Peter,
of course,
for all of your insight. I really appreciate your time and for being here.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
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 I'm trying to hit end, but there we go. Oh man.